my name's Mike Collinson. If you're a regular subscriber to my channel, you've probably seen some of my videos that I've made when I built my extension. But I just realised that I've never done a complete video from beginning to end. So I thought I'd like to show you exactly what I've done, and I'm hoping it's going to be an inspiration for other people. For those who haven't seen me here before, when I started this extension, which was 3 years ago now, I was 75 years old, and with the exception of some help doing the plastering and about an odd day or two's work on jobs that I physically couldn't do myself, where I needed a hand, I've done the whole thing completely single-handedly. That's everything from hand digging probably 130 ton of soil and concrete, to doing the plumbing, you name it, I've done it. Put the roof on, built the walls. I'm not a bricklayer, I'm not a plumber. I did learn a trade as a carpenter many years ago, but I just hope this is going to be an inspiration for other people to take something like this on. So here goes. I hope you enjoy it. It'll probably span about 3 videos, and this is obviously the first of them. So I'm going to take it from the very start, a walkthrough of what the bungalow looked like before I started, right through to a walkthrough when it's completed. And during the video, I'm also going to be putting up some of the costings as well, which maybe have helped people. So keep an eye open for them, because at various times during the video I've got costings of certain aspects of the job. So anyway, I hope you enjoy this, so let's get down to it. Here you can see the bungalow before I started. Typical 1930s small, just with 1 bedroom, 1 reception, a little tiny kitchen and a bathroom. And alongside it's this late tradition of a concrete prefabricated garage. The ground's well grown over, and it's also, the whole thing needs reducing. So the first job that I really have to do is, as you get towards the back of the bungalow here, you can see it rising all the way. So the first thing I have to do is to build a retaining wall so that I can reduce the level of the ground. This will retain the soil behind it. Quite a lot of work, as you can see. It's and also it was very wet when I was doing this. Not the best of jobs, but there you go. It's a job that had to be done, and this had to be done before I could really start on any of the work. And now I've got it concreted. I can get the block work started. Again, quite a bit of work. It's all the blocks have to be barrowed in from the front of the house. And when I was doing it, it was a pretty wet and miserable January. But yeah, it all gets done in the end. My best advice on anybody doing this sort of job is to take it one day at a time. If I'd had to look at this as a whole, I probably would never have started it. So the thing to do is to think to yourself, well, what am I going to do today? And so each day here I was laying more and more blocks, and I suppose overall it took the best part of a week to put this up. But by looking at it one job at a time, it doesn't seem such a huge. So the first job I've got to do is to dig up all this ground, clear all the site, take the garage down, right back to that retaining wall that I built earlier. All this got to go. I've got to reduce the ground levels by about 18 inches or more, nearly 2 foot in fact. So I've got a lot of soil to come out. I reckon probably in excess of 50 to 60 tons I've got to shift. And I'm going to try and do this by hand first of all. I could get a machine in here, but it just puts me under a lot of pressure to do it. So I've made a trial hole, just to give an indication of where we're going here. I need to dig down about another 6 inches
deeper than this. We'll be digging and excavating the site out ready for to clear it, basically, so that I can get the foundation started. So here goes. Kind of finished. I probably moved 4 cubic yards of soil to the garden area and filled one 6 cubic yard skip as well, so about 10 cubic yards in all. Nearly 1.5 tons in weight to a cubic yard. I've already shifted about 15 tons, but a long way to go yet. Although it's very early on in the project, I thought I'd have a chat about the costs involved. Even before starting a project like this, as it may be helpful to others starting a decent sized extension. The first thing you have to do is to employ an architectural technician to draw up the plans and submit for planning. The cost of this was £550, and in addition there was a £45 fee for a copy of the Ordnance Survey map, and then a fee payable to the council of another £172. Once I got the planning permission, that took about 2 months, I then gave the go-ahead for further detailed plans to be submitted for building control. This is for the inspections. The cost of the plans was another £395, plus £216 in council fees. There was one unexpected cost that I hadn't really considered. Because I need steel girders to support the roof, I had to have a structural engineer to provide extra drawings and calculations. And the total of that comes to £504. At the moment I'm still waiting for final approval for the building control, but all the plans have been submitted, so I'm allowed to start work. When they do come through, which will probably be in the next week, I shall have to make another final payment to the council of £300, which is payable on the first inspection. So as you can see, it's not an insubstantial amount, even before you start work.
On most projects like this, before you can really commence any serious work, the whole area needs to be cleared, all the hedges need to be general take away everything that's not needed. I also need to reduce the ground levels just to get a flat ground to be able to set out the foundation take. Now that's all cleared, it's time now to start setting up the foundations. This is a lot more interesting part of the job. It's been quite a big challenge to get all this site cleared, but now I'm getting onto the really interesting bit now. time for the concreting. Concrete lorry's just arrived, and here I am about to start to lay the foundations up to the top of the pegs. I was a bit concerned that with it just being me working on my own, that I would struggle with the quantity of concrete that had to go in before it started to set off too much. So I spent quite a bit of time, maybe 2 or 3 hours, constructing a chute to get the concrete to the back end of the trench. At the end of the day, I think the guy just wanted to get the concrete in the trench and be off. Because when I asked him about how much was left in the lorry to put in the chute for the end piece, he said, "Oh, it's all finished, so there was nothing left." So it actually all went straight into the trench, and I never ended up using the chute at all. A bit of a waste of time on my behalf, but better to be safe than sorry. It was just a backup plan for me. If there'd been 2 or 3 of us working there, then I probably wouldn't have bothered in the first place. As you can see, we start off by pouring the concrete in the first trench coming off the front of the house. This I'm levelling off now down to the top, make sure it's completely level all the way around. But the end result is okay. I must have spent about an hour and a half working on this. But as I was on my own, I can't complain too much. Here you can see the concrete just as it's starting to turn the corner. The orange pipe you can see there is a sleeve over a pipe that runs through the building site. In actual fact, at the end of the day, when the concrete was finished, I didn't quite have enough concrete, so this made a natural break. So what I did, I actually dropped the concrete 100 millimeters for the last section from the right hand side of that orange pipe to the house, which enabled me just to lay some blocks on its flat again, so that I didn't have to cut blocks. But all in all, I'm very pleased with the end result, and pleased to finish with it. Now all the concrete's in, it's time to start setting out for the block work. Here you can see I've set a line in line with the existing building out to the end of the profile, and from that I can set out, measure out the distance for the walls, both for the cavity inside and outside. The wall construction is a 100mm dense concrete block, inner and outer skins beneath ground level, with a 100mm cavity. This is to allow for 50mm of insulation and still leaving it 50mm cavity when it's finished. The blocks are pretty heavy and dense and not easy to cut. So as I said before, it pays to spend some time sorting out the levels. Here you can see I've got 2 courses high, which exactly comes to the level of the damp course. Otherwise I'd end up cutting some of the bricks. I'd either have to cut them with a hammer and bolster or a disc cutter, but both is quite hard work. Here you can see on the outer skin of the long wall, I've laid the bricks, the blocks on the flat to in effect give a double width to retain the soil of the path that's above it. As the path rises, the ground at the other end is maybe up to 2 or 3 foot higher than the ground level on the inside. So it has to be held back. Well, that's it for the first video. As I said, there will be 3 videos in this series from start to end, and in the final one, I'm going to be doing a complete walkthrough of the finished product. I hope you're still here watching this, and I encourage you to see the rest of the videos. In the next video, I'm going to be carrying the building forward right up to roof level. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you again. Bye.